Well, good late afternoon, Walleye Wisdom Watchers. This is Gary Speicher reporting from the NPAA Conference up here in Bloomington, Minnesota. And we're really fortunate this afternoon to have one of the supporting partners for the NPAA representing the USDA. And I've got John, I want to try to say this right, John,
Rothlisberger. It's a tricky one, but you did well.
Rothlisberger. Sounds like a good German name to me.
It's Swiss German.
Swiss German.
Yeah.
And John is an aquatic ecologist with the USDA. He lives in Milwaukee, and he was one of the presenters here this morning talking about some of the problems with aquatic invaders. And I just thought, John, if you want to take a couple minutes and tell us a little bit about some of the challenges out there with these critters that are invading and what anglers can do to hopefully slow it down a little bit.
Sure. There's a whole bunch of different species that recreational boaters and anglers move around as they're out enjoying the water and pick things up that happen to be out in the lakes, transport them inadvertently. These are organisms that have arrived in the United States from other parts of the world through a variety of means. Some have been introduced intentionally. Common carp is one. It's not one that you're likely to move around by accident, but you may pick it up in a bait bucket as a bait fish, those little juveniles, and move it around. So that one was introduced back in the 1860s. The U.S. government thought it was going to be a great food source for the pioneers moving west.
Okay.
They built railroad cars that had special gates on them that whenever they went over a railroad bridge with a river under it, those gates would open up and drop a few carp out. And it's been hundreds of years since the common carp have been here. They're a species that's native to China, but now they are throughout the U.S. and have damaged a great deal of aquatic ecosystems in the U.S., destroying weed beds and causing all kinds of changes to the environment that nowadays we hardly even notice because they've been here for our entire lifetime.
Right.
And so that's kind of the point that I want to make. We may not even notice the damage that's being done by aquatic invasive species now until it's too late. Many of us can't even imagine some of the waterways we fish without carp there.
Yes.
And just think what it would have been like 150 years ago without them there.
Oh, yes. And one thing, folks, that I learned this morning from John is there are a lot of critters out there that we can be on the watch for. Now you have formed a support mechanism for the NPAA. Could you tell us a little bit about what you're doing to help the NPAA this year?
Sure. We have an agreement with the NPAA to provide some small amount of funding to NPAA to do angler events where professional anglers can help with outreach to youth anglers, trying to get kids involved in the sport. So doing youth clinics and teaming up with a youth and an angler to go out on the water and have some experiences there to get them excited about fishing. And during those events, the Forest Service is providing funding for rods and reel combos to be provided to the kids.
Wonderful.
Or t-shirts, or just other little things they can take away and remember their experience with angling. We are also encouraging NPAA members, when they do these outreach events, to provide a little bit of information about aquatic invasive species.
Yes.
The things that people can do.
Yes.
Got off a little bit on the carp story.
That's okay.
It's kind of an interesting one. How things arrive and then they get spread around.
Sure.
What I want to focus on, though, is that there's a lot of species out there that are being spread from the lakes that people boat and fish in to lakes that aren't yet invaded with aquatic invasive species, whether it's Eurasian water milfoil, eelgrass, curly-leaf pondweed, zebra mussels, quagga mussels, spiny water flea, viral hemorrhagic septicemia, the fish-killing disease. These can all become associated with your boats and trailers as you're visiting lakes. And it's really important that you do a few simple things to reduce your risk of moving these organisms. You need to clean the boat. Take some time to inspect it. Make sure there's no weeds attached. Get all those off of there. Wash it down, either with a pressure washer, or even if you can only rinse it, that can still make a difference.
Yes.
Drain all the water from the boat. Pull your bilge plug. Get the live wells empty. Put your fish on ice. In some states, it's becoming illegal, Minnesota for example, to transport live fish away from a water body in water that was in that lake. So either you need to have a source of separate water to move them away in that is not associated with that lake, or you need to put them on ice before you go. And then let your boat and gear dry out before you use it somewhere else, if at all possible.
Hey folks, these are some great tips on how that we can all work together to control this influx of invasive species. And John, I want to thank you for sharing some of this information. Hopefully we'll get to see you again sometime during the year.
Thanks, Gary.
And have a great summer.
Appreciate it.
You bet. And thank
All
you
right.
for watching, Walleye Wisdom Watchers.
See you later.